Welcome to the eMedNI computer-based training series for New York State Medicaid providers. This video is part of our enrollment series of tutorials. The purpose of this session is to provide instructions for the electronic ERA or PDF remittance advice request form. The New York State Medicaid program requires all billing providers sign up for either the electronic remittance advice, ERA, or the PDF remittance advice. The ERA is in the HIPAA-compliant 835 or 820 format and requires translation software. The PDF remittance advice is a facsimile of the paper remit. More information about the electronic and PDF remittance advice will be discussed later in the presentation. Who must sign up for the electronic or PDF remittance advice? All billing, pay-to, providers must sign up for the electronic or PDF remittance advice. This includes professional, institutional, dental, and pharmacy providers, as well as practitioners who have a private practice, practitioner and dental groups, and practitioners in groups who do not have group-only status. As a member of a group practice, the services you provide are claimed by and paid to the group practice. Members of group practices with group-only status are non-billing providers, unless they also have a private practice from which they provide services to Medicaid beneficiaries. Who does not have to sign up for the electronic or PDF remittance advice? Practitioners enrolled as OPRA, ordering, prescribing, referring, attending providers do not have to sign up for the electronic or PDF remittance advice. Please note, OPRA providers cannot receive payments from Medicaid. Non-billing providers such as physician assistants and supervising pharmacists, as well as practitioners enrolled as group-only status, are also exempt from the electronic and PDF remittance advice requirement. To find and complete the ERA PDF remittance advice request form, go to the eMedNI website at www.emedni.org. Access the electronic or PDF remittance advice request form by clicking on the Provider Enrollment tab and going to the Provider Maintenance Forms section. Or clicking on the Are you compliant with NYSDOH requirements button and selecting the ERA PDF remittance advice request form. Let's go over the electronic or PDF remittance advice request form, also known as eMedNI 700201. The first required field is the provider's name. Enter the name of either the individual provider or organization for which this form is being submitted. The next required fields are for the provider's NPI or Medicaid Provider ID number. Enter the provider's 10-digit NPI, National Provider Identifier, in Field 2. The NPI entered must match the provider or organization's name entered above. Atypical providers, who are exempt from NPI, complete the third field by entering the 8-digit MMIS Medicaid Provider ID number instead of the NPI number. In Field Number 4, ETIN, enter the 3- or 4-digit Electronic Transmitter Identification number. Only one ETIN is allowed per form. For multiple providers, a separate form must be submitted for each provider. In Field 5, Remittance Type Selection, select either 835-820, Electronic Remittance Advice, or PDF. Please make sure to select only one option. In order to make your remittance type selection decision, as well as decisions about Field 6, Remittance Delivery Method, and 7, User ID, consider the following information. The electronic 835 or 820 remittance advice is only for providers who have the software to interpret the 835 or 820 electronic format. Delivery options for the 835 or 820 remit include the eMedNI Exchange, Core Web Services, or VPN. If using the eMedNI Exchange, the user ID for the exchange is the same as the provider's ePace's user ID. A Core Web Services ID is issued upon enrollment in the Core Web Portal. The PDF remittance advice is a facsimile of the paper remit. Delivery of the PDF remittance advice is only available via the eMedNI Exchange. Access to the exchange requires enrollment in ePaces. As a reminder, the eMedNI Exchange user ID is the same as the ePaces user ID. And finally, PDF remits are available for retrieval in the eMedNI Exchange inbox for 28 days. In field number 6, select the remittance delivery method of Exchange, VPN, or Core Web Services. Please make sure to select only one option. Enter the provider's current Exchange, Core Web Services, or VPN user ID in field number 7. The Exchange, Core Web Services, or VPN user ID submitted on the form must be valid and activated, and only one user ID is allowed per electronic transmitter identification number, provider combination. The authorized signature field must contain an original signature, not a rubber stamp, the submission date, printed name, and email address of the person submitting the form. The person signing this form, even if on behalf of the provider, warrants that he or she has the legal authority to do so. Note that the ERA PDF remittance advice request form will be returned or rejected if it is incomplete or contains information that is not legible. Mail the completed electronic or PDF remittance advice request form to eMedNI, attention, Provider Enrollment Support, P.O. Box 4614, Rensselaer, New York, 12144-8614. Or fax the electronic or PDF remittance advice request to 518-257-4632 and allow 14 business days for processing. For additional information regarding the electronic or PDF remittance advice request form, please visit the eMedNI website at www.emedni.org or contact the eMedNI call center at 800-343-9000. This concludes the electronic or PDF remittance advice request instructions tutorial. Thank you for joining, and please visit us at www.emedni.org for additional training resources.